All right, guys, the Obamacare battle lines are being drawn. Rich Edson has all the latest details. Rich.
Hey, good morning, Charles. Different issues from both parties, really. When you look at the Democrats, there's some unease about the implementation of Obamacare. Meanwhile, Democrats try to implement the health care law with the administration. But you do have some unease. You do have, though, some comments when it comes to the election. This is from Jim Clyburn, the assistant minority leader in the House, saying that the law was basically structured for Democrats to run on in the 2014 election. That's when all the benefits pay out. Meanwhile, on the Republican side, you've got two different strategies developing here. One mostly developing in the Senate among some Republicans who, in the fight to implement government spending, the government spending fight to prevent a government shutdown, they say, look, we don't defund Obamacare, we're not going to fund the government. There are others within the Republican Party who have basically called that not the way to go. They're looking for some tweaks, perhaps maybe even delay the law for a year. So there's different strategies developing here on how to deal with Obamacare in both parties, and that's playing out right now. Charles?
Rich, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, Americans for Tax Reform and other Republican groups sending a letter to congressional Republicans demanding a one-year delay on all of the 2014 provisions of Obamacare. Will they be able to stop this bill from moving forward? Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist joins the company. Grover, okay, so this is the way you guys want to go about it, huh? A one-year delay. You think this is the best way to sort of, reestablish your footing to maybe later on get rid of the whole thing?
Sure. The ultimate goal is to eliminate Obamacare and replace it with a pro-consumer health care project. We need to get rid of Obamacare. How do we get from here to there? The president has the veto. The Democrats run the Senate. Even the people in the Democrats in the Senate who pretend to be moderate actually work with Reid. So you have a left of center Senate, left of center president. The reason I think we can get a one-year delay is that the president knows that his legislation is falling apart. We've seen Max Baucus, the Democratic leader, head of the Finance Committee in the Senate, says it's a train wreck. The Democrat in charge of running this for Connecticut, the exchanges, says we desperately need another year to be ready. So I think the president, without shame or embarrassment, could delay it for a year, which means it doesn't get deep roots. It'll be easier to get rid of from a conservative Republican perspective. From a Democrat perspective, they're playing a high-risk game if they move forward with a program this flawed going into 2014. So I think it's the sort of thing that the president's already decided. He's delaying it for his big business friends. We're just saying let's delay it for everybody legally.
But, okay, now with the president delaying it from the employer mandate, his big business friends, to your point, the actual goodies are going into place. So I've read where maybe it's going to be $13 billion short right there. Are you saying to not do any of the coverage aspects of it, to take all of that away as well? Or because I don't see the president going for that one.
Well, look, we go in and we say let's delay the whole thing for a year. There may be pieces of it that we should certainly delay the mandates. I think we should delay the taxes, as well as if you're handing out money and you don't know who's supposed to be getting it or not, that's the sort of thing that really should be delayed until it can work. Let's have that conversation. The president announced the other day he delayed it for his big business friends, nobody else, just them, which is not really legal. The president's not allowed to decide he won't enforce certain laws. So let's do this legally.
All right, Grover, Liz McDonald here. If you fail at the congressional level, are you guys ready to take this fight to court to stop health reform?
Well, I think there should be a legal going to court to deal with the president's non-legal decision to enforce some laws and not others. That should go to court as a parallel track with legislation. The president in his press conference the other day said, normally I'd go to Congress, but it's not normal time, so I'm just doing it myself. Actually, the Republicans in the House had a bill which they put forward to delay things. The president said he'd veto it. So this idea that the president really wants to go by the law, but somehow couldn't, he's the one who is demanding that he do it outside the law through the king's edict or something.
Grover, now, within the Republican Party, though, there are other tactics that are being discussed, and I want your opinions on holding up the continuing resolution, holding that hostage somehow to defund it, Marco Rubio over the weekend also saying, let's go after Obamacare again. I'm not sure if he was on the delay or defund side of the ledger, but would that be too much of a high-stakes gambit?
Well, look, we got a $2.5 trillion spending restraint when we went and argued with the president. Conservatives, the American people, argued with the president on his demand for an increase in the debt ceiling in 2011. That was useful. That was big. That was important. But the president did that thinking he could come back in the future and renegotiate that. And he failed to be able to do that. So I think it is possible to get this president to push something off into the future, hoping he could win later. I do think it's unlikely that the President of the United States would sign a bill undoing Obamacare when he has the Senate and he has the White House. Can you imagine if that was reversed? Would the Republicans agree to a tax increase? No.
Right.
Would they be for gun control? No.
Right.
You can't jam someone if you don't have the clout. What we can do, however, is move something forward that the president could live with. He wouldn't be happy. He wasn't happy about the sequester. Wasn't happy about the budget restraint in 2011. But he doesn't have all the power, but he does have much.
All right, Grover. Well, I tell you what, everyone's bracing because we know debt ceiling, continuing resolution, delay, defund, Obamacare, all of that stuff is right on the horizon. It's going to be a real important time. And, of course, you're going to be at the center of all of it. So we appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Good to be with you.
Same here.